We were supposed to give you a mid-year report on EEO and content compliance activities. The EEO report, we will have that data in for the October meeting. The agencies had submitted to us that they were unable to submit the information in time because the reporting period ended on June 30th, and the material for the committee was due in about a week after that. So we will have that information at the meeting in October. And
if you could think ahead for next year when we accept the work plan for next year, if it appears that the agencies could have it for September, then we may reschedule the meetings through a different time in the year.
Well, I would like to just to respond this way. The BSC is supposed to go online, and once they do go online in January, we would have access to the online EEO reporting, and that will certainly make it easier. The information will be available a lot faster, so we would have that information sooner than we do now.
That's better.
Okay.
Much better. In that case, we'll go on to the Small Business Mentoring Program.
Yes.
Good news.
It's great news. It's been a long time coming. So I'm happy to announce that the MTA's Small Business Mentoring Program bill passed both the State Assembly and the State Senate in June. It was signed off by Governor Patterson on the 15th, and as of last Friday, we got notice that the bill is now a law. And so I'd like to thank everybody, the MTA family, Ron Saporita especially, Jay's focus on getting the agencies in line to support this program. So we are here, and so now the real work starts now.
And I want to say congratulations. It's been not easy and a long wait, but well worth it. And in case you haven't seen, we're already moving ahead in procurements to people that program, so that'll be good.
Exactly.
Got a number of projects lined up and ready to go.
Right. And so basically we anticipate bidding the first contracts being bid in September. Let me also say that the loan program will be approved at this Wednesday's board.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Right. And we are very, very, very happy and optimistic that the bank is going to do a very great job the same way that they've done a great job at the School Construction Authority as well.
Were they the only bidder?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And the polling that was done to find out the reason why is that most banks did not want to risk issuing loans to small contractors, which we knew all along.
And into the mentoring program for banks.
But banks also as well, right? Exactly. So the surety bond program is finalized with Marsh, so we will begin working to incorporate our training on how to access surety bonding. Mm-hmm. And then once we start to graduate our first class out in the mentor program, out of the program, our goal is to graduate these firms out with surety bonding as well. And as you know, the training program started basically and is finished, and now once the CM is on board, they signed the contract last week, and we're going to sign it this week. So we're going to start to meet with the CM firm to create a more in-depth training program.
How are you going to measure the performance of this program in terms of measuring the efficacy of our theory is that the more firms that we have bidding on our contracts, the better for all of us for a variety of reasons. Is there a way that you're going to benchmark this to show how many firms bid in these programs and how it is bringing the cost down so we make sure that we're doing this as effectively as we can?
Right. The key is going to be on our goal of graduating these firms out with access to capital, access to surety bonding, the right effective hands-on training, and then we can navigate these firms into the mainstream, either as prime contractors in bidding, so a larger pool of diverse contractors, and as subcontractors. So therefore, our MWDBE goals can be achieved because now we are moving these firms into the mainstream to work for the major contractors like Skanska, Sonota, and what have you. And the CM team that we have right now, it's a CM and also a large GC who is already doing our line subway work for us right now. And that's it.
Thank you. The DBE annual goal?
Yes, normally at this time we come before the committee to seek approval for the annual DBE goal. As I mentioned in the last meeting, the federal rule has changed. So this slide that you're looking at now that basically outlays the DBE goal setting methodology. This is the methodology that we spoke in length last year, which basically talks about how we set a base figure and how the base figures are adjusted. And then we have focus group meetings, we place notice in the media, and then there is a public briefing, and then we present the goal to the committee at this time, usually in the July meeting, and it's filed with the FTA in August. However, as I mentioned before, there has been a change in the FTA rule, and now they require submission every 3 years instead of yearly. So the goal that we submitted back in July 30th, 2009, that's the goal of 17% for our overall DBE participation federally funded contracts will apply to federal fiscal year 2011. And in next year, on August 1st, 2011, we are to submit a goal to the FTA, a new goal for the upcoming fiscal year 2011, which will cover the federal fiscal years 2012 through 2014. And then after that, the next goal will be submitted on August 1st, 2014, which will cover fiscal years 2015 through 2017. So therefore, there's no goal submission this time.
Anybody have questions? I recollect something. I want to be sure I'm right about it. In the methodology to set the goal that we used last year, and possibly even before last year, we did all the right calculations, and then we adjusted it higher. Is that correct?
Slightly higher, just about half a percentage point. Yeah.
Well, my personal goal is to see this go up, and hopefully the mentoring program is going to assist us in being able to achieve that. So looking forward to the next goal setting. Outreach.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, outreach continues to be very busy. With the mentoring program, we've also instituted a couple of events, a few events in-house. We had in May our agency-wide supplier commodity IT networking forum, which was pretty exciting. It was we had over 100 firms that had come in to network with the exhibitors who were Bombardier, Kawasaki, Staples, and other prime contractors that are doing business with the MTA, and it turned out pretty much successful with the number of firms that we had invited to come in, and we hope to have another one. We will have another one. In addition to that, we are going to continue with our in-house agency networking forums. In September, we will have the construction and construction-related services networking event, and we will be bringing back the McGraw-Hill MTA networking forum. We have most recently started the MTA newly certified orientation session, which what we're doing is bringing in the firms that have been recently certified and doing sort of like a matchmaking event for all of the agency representatives to kind of get to know who our new firms are in hopes of accessing contracting opportunities within our agencies. It started with about 20 firms that have been certified recently, and I'd say we got like about half of the firms to come in, and resultant is that they are pretty excited about this new initiative, and they're starting to learn the process on how to get through the different agencies and who they need to get in touch with as far as their own specific specialty. We continue to do the Small Business Development Training Program. We just completed our second one, and it was larger than the first one. These courses, again, are coordinated to train the firms on how to technically get involved with the agencies. So we go through an OSHA construction course, which they were certified on the 10 hours. We also have the financial and accounting, and they're extremely excited about this program. And I think our next one is going to be in September. Our upcoming MWB outreach events, we continue to do the certification sessions on a monthly basis. In August, we have our 17th Annual Competitive Edge Conference, which is probably one of the largest conferences that we've had for the past 17 years. This year, the MTA has taken the lead in coordinating the conference and partnering with the various agencies. Some of the agencies that belong to this conference are DASNY, Small Business Services, New York State Insurance Fund, and about 20 other agencies within New York State and New York City. The goal of this conference is to assist firms on accessing contracting opportunities, and we provide workshops for them to bring them new initiatives that are going on through all of the agencies, not just one of the agencies. We are now introducing, at this one, an energy workshop. We are also talking about access to federal funding and contracting opportunities. We're discussing joint ventures, and we're introducing social media demystified, which is one of the new initiatives that firms need to start taking a look at, which means Facebook and Twitter and how to market their firms on a different perspective. Our workshop at the end of the day is to introduce the large contracts that are within the agencies, and we will have firms such as Skanska, Tishman, Turner there to talk about the different projects that the MWBE firms can get involved with. Governor Patterson will be involved in this workshop. We also have Congressman Towns, and looking for giving a few awards to some of our pioneers this year that have actually have made a difference in the MWBE program, such as Paul Williams and Michael Jones Bay and others. We will continue in September with the joining in on the Small Business Procurement Matchmaker events. Those procurement matchmaker events seem to be pretty successful. It's a one-on-one with the different agencies and firms, and they get to kind of introduce and market their companies to agencies specifically. Again, the McGraw-Hill MTA Networking Forum will be held in October, and in November we will continue with the MWDBE certification session. You'll see that the Construction and Construction-Related Services Networking Forum is listed under November, but it has actually been moved to September. We're pretty much excited doing these forums.
Let me just say that the monthly certification workshops is something new, because it is not an easy thing to navigate all of the agencies and their contracting processes. So we're bringing everybody together in a room so they can get a hands-on feel as to how they can access each one of the agencies. Because, I mean, you don't want firms to go through the certification process and then just leave them to their own wherewithal. So it's not working. We are also looking very, very, very much forward to doing the McGraw-Hill event again in October. This year we can outlay our new mentor program, and so we are very, very, very excited about that.
Do you have a date for that? I would love some of the committee members to be able to attend.
Yes, it's Friday, October 29th. Yeah, for the McGraw-Hill.
The Competitive Edge is August 12th, and we'll be sending out invitations to everyone. And we also have a website that was established, which is competitiveedgesite.org, and all the specifics are on there also.
and the monthly workshops, the monthly MWDBE workshops. The next workshop that we're going to have is that we're going to get a list of all of the most recent state-certified MWBE firms who were certified in our 14-county region to get them involved also as well. So it'll be MW and DBE certification workshop.
Before we jump into diversity, I know that Gwen is going to take the diversity program, but I just wanted to also announce that we are actually have kicked off every year we partner with Harlem, and we do our Harlem Week / month celebrations, and we are starting off next week with the business development program along with the Muni artists that are involved in celebrating Harlem Week, which is the second Renaissance. All agency participation is involved in the Harlem Week.
Good afternoon. As you can see, we have just a few diversity events for the remainder of the year. In September, MTA headquarters and MTA bus will be celebrating the Hispanic American Heritage Month. For MTA headquarters, Hispanic American Heritage Month, our speaker will be the New York State Secretary of State, Lorraine Cortez Vasquez. That event is to occur on September 30th. MTA Bus Company event will also occur on September 30th. For November, we have the MTA HQ Veterans Day. Our speaker at that event will be Senator Eric Adams, who is New York State Chairman of Veterans, Homeland Security, and Military Committee. So we'd love to have you. The event is November 9th. And in December, we're going to have our annual MTA HQ International Dessert Day. Always. We have not determined the date because one of the people that was supposed to take the lead on this event is no longer with us. So we are reworking the event.
Okay, good afternoon. Okay, at the end of last quarter, March 31st, 2010, we had 36 new applications still pending review. And for the period April through June of 2010, we certified 16 firms, we denied certification to 4 firms, we returned the applications of 9 firms, and 3 firms withdrew their application, which means we processed 32 firms during that period of time. During that same 3-month period, we received 28 new applications, leaving us as of June 30th, 2010, with 32 applications pending review. All right, now in terms by service area, what we do now is we break it down to see what types of firms we're certifying. We did a total of 12 firms in construction and construction-related services, with 2 being certified in April, 4 in May, and 6 in June. This period, we did not certify any professional services or suppliers. We did, in fact, however, certify 4 other firms, and those firms were in the area of trucking. We had 2 firms certified who provided trucking services, 1 who provided security services, and 1 that provided desktop software services. In terms of the actual determinations, we had, in April, we certified 2, we returned 3. In May, we certified 4, denied 3, returned 5, and 2 applications were withdrawn. And in June, we certified 10 firms, we denied 1 firm. 1 firm had their application withdrawn, and 1 was returned. Now, in terms of breaking this down, of the 9 firms that were returned totally during the 3-month period, 3 were returned because they were not certified in their home state. It's required that the firm be certified in their home state before they seek certification here. 3 were returned for failure to cooperate, meaning that we had asked for additional information, they did not respond. 1 owner sold their business, and 2 firms were already UCP certified. firms still aren't completely understanding that if you're certified by one of our partners, there's no need to apply to us. So once we get an application for a firm that has been certified by a partner, we return it. In terms of the 3 firms that withdrew their application, one owner was working full-time, and the regs prohibit that. One owner wanted to restructure his business, and then one owner decided they just didn't want to continue with the process. In terms of the firms that were denied, as I said, we denied four firms. One firm was denied because the socially and economically disadvantaged owner did not control as required by the regs. Also, individuals who were not socially and economically disadvantaged were disproportionately responsible for the operation of the firm, and the owner was subject to formal restrictions which are prohibited by the regulation. 2 firms were denied, both construction firms, because the socially and economically disadvantaged owner did not have the technical expertise, nor did they have the license. And again, individuals who were not socially and economically disadvantaged were disproportionately responsible for the operation of the firm. And the 4th firm was denied because the owner's personal net worth exceeded $750,000. Those are the reasons.
They're very stringent. I mean, I have a WBE firm, and we were denied in a couple of places because of the net worth rule. And you want to say, well, don't you want to have people who actually are successful at what they do? So the rules are very stringent, but they're not our rules.
Right, that's correct. They're the federal rules. But interestingly, we just responded to a proposed rulemaking. They're looking to raise the cap for personal net worth. So right now it's $750,000, and they're looking to raise it to $1.2 million. We also put in that for us, because we're in an area like New York, $750,000 in New York is not the same as $750,000 in Idaho. And we're saying there needs to be a regional differentiation, and we're asking for that. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Good afternoon. The next few slides are the result of the contract integrity monitoring by our unit, by our department. As you know, we still are doing our monitoring manually. That is, we are using spreadsheets. But come August, September, we will be having our first module available by the computer consultant Skyline. So we're hoping that our contract monitoring will be greatly improved with this introduction of the computer system. As I said, right now we are still doing spreadsheets, and the next few slides are the result of the efforts done by the team headed by Charles Guye over there. So he is doing gathering the information from the agencies and putting them together manually through spreadsheets. I will turn over the floor to Cheryl George. She is a manager who is very much involved also in contract integrity monitoring.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. On page 20, we show an increase based on the first quarter of 2010 of 14 total contracts. So our total inventory is 952 contracts. On page 21, we show a cumulative number of 4,002 MWDBE firms participating. That's if you count them multiple times, but individually it would represent 1,073. On page 22, we show a original contract dollar amount of $2,296,956, $831,000, but the current subcontract amount is slightly higher, and that can be for a number of reasons. They can add additional minority subcontractors, and or the existing subcontractors could have increased in their actual participation. So that number is $2,356,240,612. The total number of contracts awarded from January through March 2010 is 995, and for a total amount of $123,254,433. And the number of subcontractors that participate on this is 23 for $15,576,893. It's important to note that Long Island Railroad and Long Island Bus, where you see that large number, 926 and then 64, that represents like commodities. All right? So it's not, construction contracts. Page 24, we show total contract awards for M&W BEs. There were a total number of 15,969, and the total number of subcontracts was 387. The following pages, 26 and 25, show you the actual breakdown of the individual MBE total number of contracts and participation, for which 25, on page 25, MBE, there were 129 for $20,706,000, and for the WBE participation on page 26, there's 258 for $5,209,733. On page 27, we have a total payments of our entire inventory. So the total number of contracts as of March 31st, 2010 is 160. However, the number of subcontracts is 937 for a total percentage of 12% participation. Page number 28, which shows the MWB participation in the payments of the entire inventory for the period of March 31st, 2010, there were 792 contracts, 3,065 subcontractors participating for a 12% overall participation.
Is there any sort of a breakout between the M and the W?
On this particular chart?
Yeah.
No, we can provide that, though. Sure, no problem. Now, on page 29, we show, on a quarterly basis, and specifically for the first quarter of 2010, total payments to Prime, $17,653,121,266,000, and the M&WB combined payments is $2,296,956,831 for a total of 13% rounded. And then again, on the total payments to the MWBE DBE subcontractors on our entire inventory for this first quarter is $47,124,862. And again, this number could vary based on the reporting that we receive from the prime contractors.
At the Capital Construction Awards, and I wanted to look at basically how many of DBE firms worked on all contracts and not historically on the FTA funded projects. And so if you look at the bottom line, it was $2.6 billion awarded in these contracts, and $305 million went to DBE firms. If you look at the FTA funded contracts, there were $208 million that was awarded to DBE firms. There was an additional $97 million that was awarded to DBE firms on state contracts. So we asked the FTA whether or not they would give us credit towards that, and their response was that is great PR, but we can only give you credit on projects that we fund. So my response was hey, listen, we have a mutual goal of certifying firms and then exposing those firms to contracting opportunities. Why should we care where these firms are getting contracts as long as they're getting contracts? And it was well. Okay, fine. So the state has agreed to give us credit. Yes, and so if you look at on page 32, if you look at all of last year, there were about $67 million in contracts awarded to MWBE firms on state contracts. If you look at the FTA funded contracts, federal, we found an additional $183 million in contracts that were awarded to state certified MWBE firms. And so I wanted to look to see where MWDB firms were getting contracts from and to engage in an effective dialogue to see if we can get credit, because it is our mutual goal to find contract awards for these firms. And so page 32, 33. Yes, and if you look at the DBE firms in last year, there were $306 million awarded to DBEs. There were $249 million awarded to MWBEs, for a grand total of $555 million that were awarded to MWDBEs on all contracts awards during 2009. And on page 34, if you look at the first quarter on our FTA funded contracts, we are currently at 16% DBA. And if you look down on page 35, on our state funded contracts, we are, with respect to MBE, 8%. With respect to WBE, 5%. Yeah, we are doing better.
That's great. It's nice to see progress. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything else to bring before the committee? And we don't need to take this goal to the full board, do we? The one that's just pushed to the next year, or do we have to take it?
No. The FTA has advised us that the goal that we submitted last year will apply to next year as well.
There's no board action.
That's correct.
required.
That's correct.
End of meeting.
If I can get myself to Secaucus in time. Enjoy the summer.
Thanks a lot.
Enjoy. August is always a nice month here because most of us disappear. Thank you very much.